It's the return of the Jedi. I'm so ashamed of that one. In our 3D camera tracking tutorial, we asked you if you wanted to see how to composite the ATST. And it turns out you did. So, at your request, let's jump into this tutorial and figure out how to conquer the galaxy. Here in HitFilm, we have a composite shot open and scene prepped. First stage in compositing our 3D model is, of course, importing the model itself. Head to the Import tab, and in the arrow beside it, we'll need to go to Import 3D Model. Find your ATST model, wherever it may be hiding, and select OK. The Properties window will open, and here is where we'll set up our materials and how the model will respond to lights within our scene. If it's not open already, open the Material tab, and let's link these properties to image files. Along with the model, you will also have a Material folder of which contains all these images, each named after their respected fields. Diffuse defines the color and pattern of the object. The surface's shininess and highlight color is through the specular map, while the normals is used for faking depth and the lighting of bumps and dents, giving the model texture. Once imported, leave the values alone apart from specular color. We can add a little extra shine by changing the color from black to a dark gray. As the brighter the color, the more shiny it's going to be. The Illumination Model tab gives us two options. Prong is more suitable for plastics with a single specular highlight, while Cook Torrents is more suitable for metals with a rougher surface that distributes the light less evenly. So we'll go ahead and use Cook Torrents, as it also provides some material presets for the Fresnel. I set mine to Platinum, but this is just a personal preference. The remaining settings aren't changed much apart from roughness, which is dialed to about 10%, and the refraction amount set to 5. Just in case you don't have it set already, head over to the advanced options and set the method to From File and Auto Smoothing. Once imported, we can drag this into the composite shot, and if you followed our 3D camera tracking tutorial, shameless plug right here, if you haven't seen it already, go check out our 3D camera tracking tutorial. It'll bring you up to speed on adding your animation file into the scene and also getting a ground plane set with your camera. So pause this, go check it out, get yourself set up, and come back and join us when you're ready. I'll wait. Welcome back. I missed you a little bit. Let's jump into it. It's time for super fun comping. Open the drop down for the model and enter the materials. We're going to first need an environment map in order to help the colors of the model match the scene. When we shot this, we actually took a 360 photo of the beach we used. To incorporate it, we'd first start by importing it into the timeline, ideally as the bottom layer, with the visibility off, then setting the map to use layer. Though if you're importing into a different scene and are unable to do this, you can select Use Composite Shot. This will take the color data from the entire comp. We're also going to need Cast Shadows enabled. Go to the new layer icon and create a new light. I'll first move this one into a position that recreates our sunlight. In order to help guide into position, I'll set the view type to free, with an active camera, top layer, and side view. Then when set in position, switch the type to directional. This will emit a light in a single direction, so best suited for sunlight. I'll then duplicate this light as we need some bounce from the sky. I'll reposition this till it appears above the model. Once in position, I'll open the properties and shift the color to a light sky blue, dialing this down to about 20% intensity. Last light we'll need is another bounce from the sand. It's very rare that a surface wouldn't have some sort of light, so let's go for as real as we can get. Like before, duplicate this light and reposition till it appears below the model this time, changing the color to the same as your surface. Then I dialed this one to around 10% as it wouldn't be too strong. To keep things tidy, give these lights a rename by pressing F2 on the keyboard. Maybe even set them a color. It's almost there now, but the big giveaway is that it's missing a shadow, and this ATST is not a Force Ghost. Create a new plane from the New Layer tab, give this the name Shadow Catcher, and be sure to make it white. That part's important. Place this under our model layer and activate the dimension icon and set it to 3D. We're going to rotate this the same direction as our surface. Usually you'd rotate this about 90 degrees on the x-axis, but as my model is on a small slope, I'll be shifting this a few degrees less. Now rotated to our ground plane, we'll want to cover the area as much as we can. Reposition and scale over the area that you'll be working with. You'll notice this layer is already reacting to the lights within our scene. As this is just the catcher, we'll need to turn these off. Go into the materials property of the layer and turn off illumination. To cast a shadow, I'm going to make a separate light, one made from a duplication of the sun. This is to add more highlights to the model and control the shadow's properties without modifying what I already have in my setup so far.
I'll rename this layer Shadow Light, then head into the settings and turn on Cast Shadows. Now reposition this light till we have the correct shadow direction, then dial the intensity down if needed. You can also diffuse the shadows if your lighting is not as strong as it is in our scene. Finally, head into the layer properties of our catcher and set the blend mode to multiply. We now have the lighting recreated. All we need now are a few effects on our model to solidify it into the scene. First up, curves. We can get this from the color correction tools, but I've actually set this to my favorites by using the star icon, which I recommend to you guys too, especially if they're effects that you use a lot. What we're going to do is alter the shadows and highlights to match the other folks in our scene. In this case, that also includes raising some of the blues in our shadows. Next up, light wrap. This is going to help sell it into the scene by blurring the edges ever so slightly with our background. I'll set the source layer to our footage and have this one be quite strong to start with, keeping the radius very small but with an opacity of about 0.5. And if you hadn't guessed, we're going to duplicate this effect, this time having a larger radius but halving the opacity, setting the blend mode to screen this time. This is due to it being slightly off in the distance and having a softer blend. Light wrap's looking good, though our model is quite sharp. You could use a blur and this would work just as well, though lately I've been using a pair of angle blurs. One set to an angle of 0 with a length of 2, then a duplicator copy at 90 degrees with double the length, followed by a standard sharpening effect. This is to simulate the camera's sensor and how we would actually be capturing the image. A subtle detail, but I quite like it. What do you guys think? Do you prefer the standard blur or angle blurs? Let us know in the comment section down below. Last effect for the ATST is a touch of film noise, based around 10% just to help it blend into the scene that little bit more. Don't forget to also switch on motion blur before you render, and of course, roto out them actors. Shooting into the light is a great way to help blend the 3D model, especially as it helps hide those imperfections. Even more so if you can then add a flare from our free Radiance preset pack to add an extra punch.
Thanks for watching. Again, this tutorial was requested by you, so if there's other things that you want to learn, tell us and we'll make a tutorial out of it. You're technically our bosses. And if you use these techniques in your projects, send them our way, let us know about it. You can email it to us at nottobragbut@fxhome.com or tag us on Instagram.
We're actually doing some really cool stuff over there right now, so you should probably go follow.
We really want to see what you take away from these tutorials, so let us know. Subscribe to see if your requested tutorials come up in future videos, and be sure to ring the bell to be notified. See you next time, and as always, may the force be with you.